In this video, I'm gonna break down the neuroscience behind how you can make more money right now. I'm Dr. Dan, CEO of the Catalyst Group and a personal development consultant. So this topic really excites me because I did not grow up in an environment or in a family where money was talked about. In fact, if it was talked about, it was how it doesn't grow on trees, how there's a limited resource, and you can't just get it if you don't have it. I learned early on that money was scarce and it created security. So that's a bad place to be in, because if you think money creates your security, you are in a load of trouble. It doesn't. It's a resource. It's a tool. But I didn't grow up that way. So I remember when I was first in business, I had a financial advisor teach me these concepts. He said, money is nothing more than a value exchange. And he went on to teach me why. He explained to me what money truly is. You may have never heard this, but I want you to think about this. Money is an exchange. It's a currency exchange. Back in the day, if you needed something, you had to barter for it. So if you needed a hammer and you had chickens, you would go find somebody that had a hammer who needed chickens, and you would exchange for those. Or if you had a kid that needed a shirt, you would go find somebody who had a shirt, and then you'd exchange what you had that they needed. But as you can imagine, that is not a great system, because you're constantly having to worry about what somebody else needs in order to get your needs met. So there was a better system created, and that was a currency that everybody could exchange for this one valuable resource. We call it money. But here's the interesting part about money. If I were to take a dime and a $20 bill, and I asked you which is worth more, the $20 bill or the dime, you would clearly tell me, without it being a trick question, that this $20 bill is worth more than this. And I want to teach you right here, some of you again never heard this before, what you're telling me is this piece of paper is worth more than this silver. If you break it down, this silver is worth much more than a piece of paper. But because we have a certain spiritual value, a metaphysical value, it's not an actual value, because paper is worth less than this metal, unless we have a value that we've put upon it and we have an agreement that this could get me more than this can get me. This is worth 10 cents of value exchange. This is worth 2,000 cents. Why is this important? Because in order to understand making more money, you have to understand what money is. Money is an exchange. So therefore, what do you exchange for money? Money is an exchange of value. So now watch this. If I were to ask you, what do people exchange their hard-earned money for? What would you say? Think about it. What do you buy and why do you buy it? I have broken it down to three things. People will pay for efficiency, time, something that saves me time. They'll pay for entertainment, something that's gonna entertain me, or something that's gonna solve my problems. And so it's critical that if you're asking yourself the question, how do I make more money? I want you to flip the script on that and say, how can I solve more problems, create more entertainment, or save somebody time? Because when you can do one of those three things, people will exchange their money for your value. So I recently bought this new iPhone, paid a lot of money for it, and there are things on this new iPhone that I didn't even know existed, but they are super helpful. Like when I'm driving and my directions come up on the top of the screen when I'm on a call or when I'm doing something else with my phone. It's incredible. This new iPhone has created more value to me than I ever thought was even available. And so Apple has done a good job at creating more value. I will happily exchange my money for something that creates more efficiency in my life. Or another example is when I got business coaching when I started my first business. They taught me how to set up the business, how to create a package, how to create a mechanism to solve people's problems better, how to deal with money, profit and loss, how to communicate value. All of that allowed me to overcome mistakes that I would have made, save me time on pitfalls I would have ended up in, and make me more money as a result. My exchange for paying my business coaches and consultants tens of thousands of dollars was a very unique advantage for me, and I get a return on that investment times 100. So the question you gotta ask yourself is not how can I make more money, is how can I save somebody time? How can I solve more problems? Or how can I entertain people? Now, I'm not an entertainer.
What about it, old sport?
I don't ask the question, how can I entertain? I'm not about that. That's just not my gifting. I'm not that funny. I can't act. I surely can't sing, but I have learned how to solve problems specifically for people. So let me give you these 5 specific keys that if you do these things, you will make more money. Number 1, skills pay the bills. You must acquire a skill that solves a problem that people will pay for. Number 2, riches are in the niches. Find a niche, a group that you uniquely solve a problem for, that you gain the skill set for, and they'll pay you. Number 3, you must learn to communicate. Facts tell, stories sell. Clear, concise, and simple. The better you communicate, the more people pay. Number 4, develop your unique catalyst, your mechanism that's going to get a result. Because when you have a unique mechanism, you can simplify your delivery of it. You can solve a problem every time repeatedly, and you can build your business around it. And number 5, have massive conviction with your catalyst, with your solution, because there's something called electrons and mirror neurons that in your marketing, in your sales, and in your fulfillment, and even leading your team, they pick up on what you believe about it, your level of conviction. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the needle mover. When I teach clients how to have a catalyst and how to create conviction in their catalyst, everything else changes. They can scale their business without some fancy script or some sort of amazing marketing agency, because they're so confident in their solution. If you need help with your catalyst, or to build your business, or to scale the next level, click the link below. In the meantime, stop asking the question, how do I make money? And start asking the question, how do I solve more problems? I'm Dr. Dan, and I'm out.